Hello!
Hey everybody! Welcome to frozen Alberta.
Yeah.
It's colder now than it was at 6 o'clock this morning. It is minus 30 out and they're saying it feels like more minus 46. Well, you were shoveling.
Wow.
What did it feel like?
Not bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you sheltered in there?
No. I'm walking around.
Oh, okay. So
Take the shovel and carry the snow and then
Oh.
dump it. I'm getting snow from everywhere.
So yeah, it's ugly and it's supposed to be like this till the end of the week.
Yeah.
So
It's day
39.
39.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about me being bedridden and how food reacts, how I felt that the food reacted to me, the way I ate. About in 2010, for 4.5 months I was bedridden, started in April.
Yeah.
And I would eat things like, well, I just went gluten-free a month and a half before that. And I had energy to burn. And all of a sudden it's
More
like,
energy than I did.
oh yeah, man, like I could...
You know, even though, what's the word I'm looking for?
I was bigger than you.
You were stronger
fatter
than me.
you.
You were stronger than me.
Yeah.
You outran me and I was in boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do an hour and 10 minutes on the elliptical and just kicking it into high gear. I love that.
You had a lot of muscle.
I burnt it out.
Yeah.
But I was overweight and I couldn't lose weight. And I didn't know why.
And you had a lot, but you had a lot of muscle, and you were stronger than me.
Yeah. Yeah, that ain't no more. But in that 4.5 months, I went through a lot of meds, a lot of depression, and way too much pain. Even at one point, I ended up with, what's that? Itchy,
Oh yeah, you ended up with shingles.
shingles. And I didn't even know I had them until they were like going away. So that was a blessing, like from Jehovah, because I mean, everything else was so bad.
Well, the doctor kind of freaked out because shingles don't disappear like that.
Yeah, shingles don't go away.
And they were for you.
And if you have them, and like I had so many people praying for me that they just kind of poof, poof. He looked, I said, why is my side itchy? And he looks, he goes, you got shingles. I'm like, oh, really? He goes, but they're going away. That's impossible. Well, I guess it isn't. So at that time, I was in bed like there, and he was in bed there because he was looking after me. And I ate KFC, so everybody knows anything about Kentucky Fried Chicken. It wasn't the best choice. It was better back then probably than it is now.
But I also made salads because we didn't really know anything about gluten-free.
Yeah. So we just went gluten-free, like I said, like a month and a half before that.
Yeah.
So our fix on this was salads. And I did really good. Like you put some cheese on there, and you'd have this salad, and then
Mayonnaise.
I like having
or salad dressing.
I like having salad dressing.
Me too.
But he
is
extreme.
love salad dressing.
He's way overboard when it comes to salad dressing. Like it was like, oh man, like drip, 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 drip. And in the end, it was like, I can't do this. I can't eat that.
A cup of salad dressing for every leaf. That is how a salad should be.
Yeah. No.
And
so
3 cups of cheese.
So that only lasted so long, and he had to start cooking me other things. But I remember Mom brought me down fried potatoes and onions, and that was something I went through. You don't eat a lot when you're on painkillers and stuff, as a rule, and I end up with this horrible taste in my mouth. So they were buying me bags of ketchup chips, and I would eat not a lot, but that was something that I would go to. And the food, like chicken nuggets and stuff like this, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. But we had been gluten-free for such a short time. We didn't
know what to do.
No idea. And back in 2010, it was hard to get proper tasting food too.
Yeah,
so,
health food stores really didn't carry a whole lot.
Other than like the rice flour kind of thing.
Yeah. And as from my experience with baking it within that week and a half, it was not going to fly with me.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So, I mean, he was still working, and Dad was still farming, and Mom was going with him to markets and stuff, so I was kind of left alone. And
at the time, which I do feel bad for, was that I was manager of the farmer's market too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I had a
you have to go.
responsibility to go.
Yeah. And I mean, things just, it was bad. It was a really, really bad 4.5 months. I lost 27 pounds, but I can bet you anything it was muscle mass that I lost.
Yeah.
The day I went in for surgery, I couldn't sit up. Within like seconds of sitting, I couldn't. I had so much pain, I had to lay down. It was all disc back, low back stuff. And after surgery, by about, I think 4 or 5 o'clock, we're at the hotel room, and I sat for like 30 minutes talking to Mom. And she's like, don't you think you should lay down? I'm like, why? This is awesome. I feel fantastic. And it was, but I didn't have the strength. Like, I had to walk up and down the hallway to make sure I didn't get blood clots and stuff. And that was tiring me out. And it took, I don't know how many trips to even walk the driveway. I just couldn't do it. And with that, my left leg got really numb, really weak. I've had trouble with it ever since. From my knee down, it's numb on the outside. And it bites. But I'm hoping with the carnivore diet that I will be able to regain some of that feeling back, and whatever. So in 2018, I went to physio.
Much later.
Yeah, I went to physio, and they were working on my ankle. And with whatever, like he said, when it's your first time at physio, they're like, okay, lay on the bed and we'll like assess you. And I'm like, I can't lay down flat. I have a automatic bed, so I never lay flat.
So this was the beginning of number 2?
Yes. Yes, the first one was 4.5 months starting in April. This one was 2.5 months, around 2.5 months starting in February of 18. And I'm like, I can't lay flat. My back is really buggered up. Well, could you lay flat for a little while? And I'm like always wanting to please whoever, so I'm like, okay.
You're a pacifist.
Yeah, I'll lay on my back. So I laid on my back and I knew this was not a good idea. And they took quite a while to do my foot and stuff. By the time I got from my back and I was supposed to walk out of there, I could absolutely put no pressure on my foot. I couldn't, my brain was telling my foot, do not stand on it. Like, it was the weirdest thing in the world. So then they called him up, and he was supposed to be my crutch because I had no crutches. Yeah. And I threw his back out and screwed up mine even worse by using him to get me out of the place, down the stairs, out of the thing. It was bad. Yeah. It was really bad. And it was my left leg, thankfully. It was still the same leg that I messed up earlier. But from there I ended up wearing a boot, and that was real fun. And the food that I was eating... You
got the boot!
Yeah, I was already carnivore. So the food I was eating was like dairy, duck, beef, lamb.
No salad?
No salad, thankfully. And he was cooking for me, and things went pretty good, but I was on the dairy, right? So the funny thing is when I came home that night, things were bad, and I started having back spasms, and my back would not stop spasming. I would be laying there and it would just shoot into spasm after spasm, and then it would settle down for like 5 minutes and then do it again, and then settle down for half an hour and then do it again. Get up to go to the bathroom, it would spasm walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was just horrible. So I kept thinking, well, carnivore, should help me out here. But like I said, I was on dairy as well. And he was making steaks and
always making a steak, always making a hamburger, and always making a duck.
And a duck, yeah. So I had this, and I think you were even making me some egg white bread, if I'm not mistaken.
I might have.
And that's what I was eating, but then it'd be like, I need something. So then he'd hand me over the whipped cream, and I'd eat some whipped cream and go back.
Yeah. I don't remember much about that one.
See, the only reason I remember more is I went through, because every time this happens, I take notes.
Yeah.
Of what happens every day, what's going on.
The 4.5 months is a blur, but I barely remember the 2.5 months.
Yeah, it was bizarre. That one was really, really weird. And when something goes wrong with my back, something else in my body takes over. So the first time my leg went numb, I still have it numb. It's really screwed up.
Yeah.
This time, my finger went nuts. Now, if
You might be able to see it in other videos.
Yeah, when I'm
You're
making the pizza, I'm pushing this down, this finger goes up, and this finger goes up. I don't know why that one's doing that, but that always did that. But this one, my knuckle went huge.
We'll put a picture up, too.
Yeah, we will. And everybody is like, you have gout, you have gout. Okay, I'm carnivore, yes. I've been carnivore, actually, by this time, this is February, for a while already.
Yeah.
I've been carnivore for quite a while already. And I've never had a problem with gout. I've never had a gout attack.
You know gout.
I know my mom has gout, and I know how gout works because I've seen it like in her big toe, and then I've seen it in her move to her ankle, and then move to her knee. Like, it's nothing to mess with.
Swollen and red and itchy and
see, that's the thing. This thing never got red. It just went, and
it's not the first time you've had finger problems either.
no. I ate popcorn. We were coming back from
long book
signing, and we stayed at Fantasyland Hotel, Edmonton. You gotta check it out, man. The rooms are awesome.
Oh,
We were supposed to have the igloo room or something, and the guy flooded it that night. So
that wasn't that day.
Oh, they gave us a different room, but we probably had the truck room or something.
We had a more simple room, I think.
And,
we had a fancy room, but it was in the Hollywood level.
Yeah.
It was the Hollywood floor.
Yeah, so I mean, you can, like, they're really cool rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
And we ate
at the very least, check out the website, because those rooms are some of the coolest rooms you can check out.
Yeah. And so we ate popcorn that night. It was gluten-free, and the morning got up, and my finger was like screwed. It was like this. I don't know which finger it was, but it was like totally, I could not straighten it out. It was so impacted.
You had a 80-degree angle on your finger.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Bent to the joint that went straight. I remember it was like 3 a.m. You're like, hey, Greg, or Chance, hey, wake up. What? Look at my finger.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really, really weird. And it hurt. And it really hurt. This thing did hurt.
That's bad.
This thing did hurt too, but it was more, I don't know, it was more stiff, it was more huge. So then, let's say we fast forward now to 2020. Okay, so now in November.
Number 3.
Yeah, I end up bedridden again for 6 weeks. And this is low back pain again. I have no spasms, thankfully. But I've got so much pain in my butt on the left side, I cannot move my leg.
Side butt?
And it was
also a hip.
It was not really even in my hip. The pain was in my butt, and I don't like. We
heard it was sciatic.
Yeah, but one said sciatic, somebody else said something else. But it didn't go down my leg. It just was in my butt. Like, I didn't have sciatic pain going down my leg because I've had that before.
Yeah.
And this time we were total carnivore, no dairy. And
heavy fat, chicken skins. I remember chicken skins.
Yeah, yeah.
And bacon.
He made me a lot of chicken skins. I had beef, lamb, beef bacon, and chicken skins. And I'd had no coffee, and I drank a lot of water.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of water. And with the...
and you weren't bedridden that long.
It was 6 weeks. It was a long time. There was at one point where I could not move my leg. Like, I could not lift and transport weight from one leg to another to step down. And he put a towel underneath my leg to try to help me move it by pulling it.
You're on a walker.
Yeah.
And so I'd be under the walker with a towel, and when you're ready to step, I just take the towel and I would pull. So that
my leg would move, because I couldn't move on my own. And we can't do the wheelchair. We did the wheelchair thing, but it didn't work. It messed me up because...
up and down. And...
some moron, whoever did this house, made the bedroom doors a proper size. So then you get the wheelchair out of the bedroom, no problem. It's a little maneuvering getting around the corner.
Yeah.
But then they made the bathroom door smaller, so the wheelchair didn't fit through the bathroom door. So it was useless getting up and down, because when this one happened, my knee blew on the other leg. So I had the pain on the right side, on the left side, and my knee blew on the right side, and it blew so bad I couldn't bend it.
And your leg is still numb on the left side.
Yeah, the other leg is still numb, but my right knee is huge.
Yeah.
And swollen, and could barely bend it. Like, it was insane. It's like, you really... I've got a bad enough issue doing this, like, now all of a sudden I got this.
Yeah.
And I was on painkillers. They were not as strong as the first time through, but
The 4.5
they were
months.
like this, but they were like the ones in 2018, and I did a lot of drinking, and he sat and he would read to me for hours,
Yeah.
trying to get through this.
And there was another thing that you ended up talking to a surgeon after this one or the last one of these two times.
Oh, it was after. I think it was after the last one.
The second
Because
one?
because I had an appointment with the back surgeon at the beginning of 2020, the day that they locked down. So that was the end of that, and he said to me, we've took a look at your MRIs that you just did, and we really can't do anything for you. You're gonna have to, take it easy and stuff, and you're gonna have to understand that you're gonna be bedridden.
Again. And again.
This is going to happen for the rest of your life.
So we are on to bedridden number 3, waiting for bedridden number 4.
No, we're not. Not waiting for that at all. So he said that I would be bedridden again. It's just the way with them doing surgery, it's not going to do any big deal, and it's not going to make any difference.
No.
And I've got happening in my back what happened in my back in 2010. It's just happening lower down now. So as long as I'm careful and I watch, my inflammation and stuff, and that's what I'm doing with Carnivore. I'm really trying to watch my inflammation. See, the week before this one happened,
This last one,
I was like sucking back dairy like you wouldn't believe. I was having whipped cream and ice creams, like all Carnivore, okay? No sweetener in them. So we're not talking no sugar. We're talking straight Carnivore. And I make ice cream, so I was eating the ice creams, and we had
the egg white bread and the egg puffs and
I was putting eggs and
stuff,
and I was having all kinds of dairy, and it wasn't as much the egg as it was the dairy. I honestly believe that really threw me over, because that week my weight went up when I was eating the dairy that week, and it went from 0 to 100 again. I was sitting here and I could feel a pain in my butt, and I thought, this is weird. And then 3 days later, I couldn't get out of bed. And then it just went, then that was it. I was down. So then when I was down, I'm like, okay, that's it. We're not doing any dairy. We're totally off dairy. I honestly believe this is what happened. And within 6 weeks, now it's not all dairy weight that I lost, but within 6 weeks, I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And my knee is back to normal finally.
Yeah.
And I can bend it. It's not stiff. It's not hot. It's not swollen. It's back to normal now.
So something that's really neat about when you look at this is that your first one was 4.5 months.
Yeah.
And you ate gluten-free, but everything.
Everything.
And then 2.5 months, Carnivore, but with allergies, with dairy.
Yeah, with dairy and eggs.
And your body didn't accept them, really?
Not really, no. Like I did read in one of the things that I wrote, I had whipped cream and I wasn't feeling good that night.
Yeah?
So I already knew, because I know that when I do whipped cream,
it tastes good.
Oh yeah, I get sick. But
and now 6 weeks.
And I lost no muscle mass this time. Like, I can tell you that. It's bizarre. But it's like I went to bed for those 6 weeks, got up, and I'm right where I was before I went to bed.
You might have lost a little bit.
It's possible. I mean, it makes sense that I would.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it at all. Because when I got out, my ankle was feeling good. My knee was stiff still. But we went for a walk. And I actually did really good. Like, I walked faster than he thought I was going to.
Yep.
And I made it all the way to the end of the driveway and back. So I was, like, really impressed. But, I mean, my ankle's still blowing up a little bit. It's, I've got a brace on it again. And I can tell you, personally, my feeling is that the food you eat when you're in bed and when you're bedridden is gonna hurt you, or it's gonna help you.
Yeah.
And
if we had known this diet for the 4.5 month one, I wonder if you would have been feeling better. I don't think you would have been out of the bed.
No, I had to have the surgery to do this.
Had to.
Yeah. And they did take part of my backbone out so that if this happened again, that it would not put me back into where I was.
Well,
So that's why I think, because even one of my doctors said, you know, it's a good thing that they did take that like piece of your backbone out, because what happened this time didn't like hit my spinal cord.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a smaller spinal column than normal people too.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean that made
and that's
a
what
huge
caused.
difference. That's what caused the whole numbness of my leg,
and why it was 4.5 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and surgery took so long.
Yeah, it took a long time to get surgery, but I know that what you eat definitely will affect your healing process too. Because this time, like I said, I pulled out the dairy. I wasn't eating much.
Yeah.
But when I was hungry, I told him and he'd bring me some food. And it does make a difference. It really does make a difference.
Yeah. So first time you pulled out the sugar, then you pulled out the dairy, and now look, at 6 weeks.
Well, I pulled out, no, the first time we pulled out gluten. And then we pulled out everything else except for the dairy. And then we pulled out the dairy. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so if you're sitting in a position where your back really sucks, try it. What have you got to lose? Like, seriously, if you're having health issues, try Carnivore.
I'm gonna lose my KFC chicken.
Oh, please, that stuff will kill you anyways.
Now it's breaded.
Yeah.
It's breaded now.
But, you know, it's like I keep thinking, you know, do I want to end up back in bed, or do I want to feel stronger in bed?
I want to go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, but once you're in bed for weeks on end, it ain't fun. It really is not fun. See, that's what this our neighbor, he comes and he's a little kid and he's like, it must be fun to be in bed all the time. I'm like, no. You know, and then to get into bed, I know it's 20 minutes, but we'll just touch on this. To get into bed, I had a walker. I walked. He would tell me which direction to back up. And then I would sit on the bed and scream sometimes. And then he had to take my feet and move my feet onto the bed. And I would scream.
And then shift you and shift you and shift you.
And I would sit there and I would cry because of the pain in my shoulder, the pain in my back, the pain in my butt, the pain in my ankle and my hip. And it was insane. And then it took a long time for him. Like, he'd sit down on the floor, hold my hand until I could breathe normally, and then he'd get up and he would move on. But I honestly believe that if I wouldn't have been eating this way, that my inflammation would have been way worse.
Oh yeah.
That
you might still be bedridden.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
If you eat the same way in the beginning as you did in this time.
Yeah, because I mean, the stuff wasn't feeding my system or my body, and now it was. So, sorry it's been so long, but I really wanted to talk about this and maybe give somebody out there hope that, you know, there is a way. And you know what? Do your research on it.
Yeah.
You know, this is my
story.
This is my life. This is how the food affected me. And if you're a vegan or whatever, and you think I'm totally full of it, that's fine.
Or if you're allergic to meat.
That's fine. Everybody has their story. And this is my story, and he gets dragged along with me when we do this.
Well, I enjoy it.
No, well, I didn't. But, yeah. So there you go. Happy day 39. Day 40, let's go back and cook. Bye.